There's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
But for our government just to say, okay, well, your debt is completely forgiven. Obviously, they have an agenda for that. They need votes in November. So the timing is a pure coincidence there.
Yeah. Can you believe that? It's almost like when the government does something good for the people, they're more likely to vote for that person. Weird how that works. It's almost like that's the entire fucking point of politics altogether. When you do absolutely nothing for the people except fuck them over, it's almost they don't want to vote for you for some reason. But when you like do what you said you're gonna do and like at least relieve some of the student debt, people might want to vote for you again. Weird.
There as well, but it's completely unfair.
What a dirty trick.
And taxpayers all over the country, taxpayers that never took out a student loan, taxpayers that pay their bills and maybe
Shut up, bitch.
even never went to college, but these hardworking people,
Shut up,
they
bitch.
shouldn't have to pay off the great big student loan debt for some college student that piled up massive debt going to some Ivy League school. That's not fair. But for our
That's not fair. Yeah, you know what else isn't fair, Marjorie Taylor Greene? That you had. Yeah, you know what's not fair, Marjorie Taylor Greene? That you had $183,000 in PPP loans forgiven, and guess who had to pay for that? The government. But I didn't hear you say one fucking thing when that happened. Huh. Oh, here's fucking Vern Buchanan.
A lot of families in our region, they've been talking about forgiveness of loans for the last 4 or 5 months, are very, very upset. Many of them work
Very,
two
very
jobs to be able to
upset.
put their kids through college, and then to think that a lot of these loans are going to be forgiven is wrong, and they're very outraged about it.
And these folks paid up. They took care of their obligations.
Yeah, they took care of their obligation with their children. They felt like they did the right thing. Many of them working an extra job to be able to do that. And now they just feel outraged about where this is going. And this is not something the last couple of weeks. This has been going on for the last year, 6 months. They've been talking about it. And I just knew when we got in the business it would be a disaster. We should have no business in terms of the federal government being in the business of lending students. There's a lot of people out privately that would do that.
Sure. I mean, it's very regressive. It's the non-rich, middle-class people who are paying the freight one way or another, including taxes, for those upper-crust people, get graduate degrees in religion or poetry or stuff.
It's not the upper crust people, dude. It's people who make less than $125,000 a year. The upper crust people ain't getting shit out of this, motherfucker.
And there's a lot of kids that are working.
Speaking of upper crust people getting things that the taxpayers have to pay for, Vern Buchanan, the douchebag that's complaining about the student loan debt, had over $2.3 million in PPP loans forgiven that the taxpayers had to pay for. What about this douchebag? We did not need farmers and ranchers and small business owners and teachers in Oklahoma paying the debts of Ivy League. They're not lawyers and doctors, dickhead. Also, you had 1.4 million in loans forgiven that the taxpayers had to pay. So shut your fucking ass. Kevin Hearn, same thing, 1 million, in loans. All these other Matt Gates. Everyone knows that in a 60 billion plus European land war, it's always the last 3 billion that kicks in the door. God damn it. I keep fucking it up. Well, anyway, Matt Gates got 482 in thousand in PPP loans that was forgiven that the taxpayers had to pay for. And you motherfuckers ain't saying shit about that. So when poor people get some, and you guys are fucking rich as fuck. When poor people finally get something, you guys lose your minds. But you weren't losing your minds when you guys were getting $1 million loans forgiven that the taxpayers had to pay for. What the fuck, dickheads? It's almost like you guys are giant hypocrites.